Hello, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the J tag, and I was tagged by Joel Swagman, and this tag was created by Jim's Books Reading and Stuff, and he's actually been creating tags for every letter in the alphabet, and this is the first one I've been tagged in, the J tag. And there's some really interesting questions on here that really got me thinking. And the first one is, J is for Japan. What is the last book you've read by a Japanese author? And that would be Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto, which I read in May 2020. And I actually finished Revenge by Yoko Ogawa that same month, pretty much one right after the other. So those are the last two books I read by Japanese authors. Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto was a really good book that I really enjoyed about found family. And then Revenge is a collection of interconnected short stories that are on the very dark and subtly disturbing end of the spectrum, which ended up being one of my favorite books of the entire year. Question 2, J is for Jamaica. What is the last book you've read by an author from the Caribbean? And this, I had to realize that I'm not doing so well in my Caribbean reading. I don't think I've read a book from a Caribbean author, but I do have several on my TBR that I would love to share. I have a couple of YA books by Nicola Yoon, who grew up in Jamaica and the United States. So there's everything, and the sun is also a star. I believe these both take place in America, but they have either Caribbean American characters, or I believe this has a Caribbean main character that is living in the United States. I also have A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James that I heard quite a bit about a couple years ago, and it really piqued my interest. And I also have Midnight Robber by Nalo Hopkinson as an ebook that I want to get to. So haven't read any Caribbean authors, but there are some that I hope to get to soon. Okay, question 3 is J is for Jane Austen and July. What do you plan on reading for Jane Austen July 2021? And in my case, it is now, what did I read for Jane Austen July? And that would be Sense and Sensibility. Which is the second book that I read from this beautiful Barnes & Noble edition, putting together 7 novels. And I hope to read the rest soon. Wow, I put it upside down. I loved Sense and Sensibility. It is my favorite so far. But Pride and Prejudice was also really, really good. So, yeah. Come to find, I am a Jane Austen fan. I do like them very much. And I read Sense and Sensibility as a buddy read with Laura from Let's Get Fictional, and that was such a fun experience. Question 4, J is for James Joyce. What is your favorite book by James Joyce? I have not read any books by James Joyce either. And there are a couple that I've heard quite a bit about that I wouldn't mind checking out to see if James Joyce is my kind of thing, but you know, I kind of assume at this point that it's not my kind of thing, and that's why I haven't read anything yet. But if I was going to check out James Joyce to see if I like it, it would probably be Ulysses or Dubliners because those are the ones I've heard the most about. So that might be an interesting experiment at some point. 5, J is for joke. Tell a bookish joke. Okay, how about I go a little spooky for this? Why does a ghost read so many books? Because they go through them so quickly. I crack myself up. And 6, J is for Jaguar. Enzo Ferrari describes the Jaguar E-Type XKE as the most beautiful car in the world. What do you consider the most beautiful car in the world? I don't consider myself a car person, but my dad was a big car guy. And he bought the most beautiful 1969 Mustang Boss 429, brand new, and had that for so many years. And then recently, in the last several years, he bought another one and refurbished it to the most beautiful car I've ever seen. And because it holds a very special place in my heart, I have to go with the 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. And that is all the questions for the J tag. But I will just say I'm going to tag Laura from Let's Get Fictional. Since I mentioned you in this video, you're tagged. Thanks again to Joel Swagman for tagging me, and I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.